Well, Disney's Marvel movie making machine has pumped out its 18th total film and first of 2018 with Ryan Coogler's The Black Panther. And Disney's continuing push to get these up-and-coming directors to helm the projects has produced another enjoyable film, and I think more importantly has staved off that Marvel movie exhaustion for at least one more film by providing a fresh and different style than the other movies, for the most part. Coogler, the mind behind Creed and Fruitvale Station, is able to create a film that rises above most of the other Marvel films because of its captivating visuals and its unique score and its interesting characters. But unfortunately, it still does hit on some of those comic book movie tropes that we have seen over and over and over again. Well, at this point, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really a train you're either on or you hopped off long ago, if you ever got on. It is worth noting that this film, you don't have to see the other 17 movies in order to understand. Martin Freeman's character is the only returning one from the other films, and he's really just like stereotypical CIA American. And the Black Panther himself was only in Civil War for a little bit, and it's not really even brought up in this film. This movie centers around T'Challa, played by Chadwick Boseman, who takes on the mantle of King of Wakanda, an isolated city in the heart of Africa that has far surpassed the rest of the world in terms of knowledge and technology thanks to the vibranium that the city is founded on. And over the course of the film, he faces many obstacles as he learns what it will take to be the king. Wakanda actually is mentioned several times in the film that it's the most beautiful place in the world. That could certainly be argued, but it's a credit to the movie that it brings anything to that argument at all. The city is filled with skyscrapers like something you might see in Shanghai or Dubai, but it's combined with the bungalow and hut look of traditional African tribes. And that's a theme that continues throughout all the visual aspects of Wakanda. The battles showcase armor that similarly has that traditional African look, but it's combined with a modern feel. And they have weapons like, it's a spear, but it'll blow up a tank. Or it's a club, but it's ridiculously strong. And they have swords and bulletproof rhinos. And then they just look at something like a gun and they're like, so primitive, as bullets just like clang off the side of this vibranium plated car that they're driving down the street. And in addition, we get enough of our characters kind of wandering through the streets of Wakanda, and we see rituals, and we get to really feel this place as a true living and breathing city and culture, much more than something like Nowhere in Guardians of the Galaxy or the Grandmaster's planet in Thor Ragnarok.
My son, it is your time.
Show me my respect and bow down.
Ludwig Göransson, who worked with Coogler on both Creed and Fruitvale, crafts what is easily the biggest standout out of any of the Marvel scores, outside of maybe the Avengers' main theme. When he uses instruments like the talking drum, the kalimba, or the tambine, it creates that African style that you really don't hear much. But when it really stands out is when he combines that with a traditional orchestral score, or even better at parts, hip-hop beats to create a really unique sound and something that is just a blast to listen to. There are times when it goes to just the orchestral score, and that's really when it's at its weakest, becoming just another traditional Marvel movie sound. There was also a lot of hype built up around Kendrick Lamar's Black Panther album before the film's release, and there's really only 2 or 3 songs from that album that actually make it into the film, for better or for worse. Usually for the better.
You get to decide what kind of king you are going to be.
The final piece that really helps lift it above so many of the other Marvel films is the strength of the characters. T'Challa himself is someone who in the beginning, of course, seems like he has all the answers, but is able to learn through the course of the film. It's not a groundbreaking arc by any means, but it's at least done in an interesting way through the film. But the real strength is the side characters, his sister, his girlfriend-ish, or the general of the Wakandan troops. Sure, they still fit the roles of the comedic relief and the romantic interest and the stubborn best friend, but they at least feel like they have a little more depth than the characters in those roles generally do. And a lot of this is because, unlike some more recent Marvel films, again, like Guardians 2 or Thor Ragnarok, this film takes the time to let the emotional moments simmer. It lets the audience sit in that anger, in that sadness, in that whatever it is, and it doesn't feel the need to whisk the audience away to the next moment by another joke from one of the characters. And while that strategy can work for certain types of films, the Black Panther is one of the more serious characters, and while there are plenty of good jokes in this movie, including one that was a little dated, but still funny, it's nice to see that Disney isn't afraid to let a little bit of darkness or anything that's not happy be in their films still. And Michael B. Jordan plays a memorable villain who, in all honesty, really kind of relies a lot on Jordan's charisma to carry him through. In addition to that, though, he has a cause worth fighting for. He's fighting for it in the wrong way, but he still has something to teach the main characters, and I think that helps him be more memorable and become something more than just another power-hungry person who wants money, like Andy Serkis's character in this movie, who unfortunately they feel like they have to spend the first half of the movie focusing on. And that's the start of what prevents this movie from being that masterpiece. Another place where it seems like just an average superhero film is the action scenes. There's a really cool car chase in the beginning that showcases all sorts of Wakandan technology, and there's still bulletproof rhinos, which is awesome. But outside of that, it's pretty average. Especially the final fight was a huge disappointment. It ends up with Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman in black suits fighting in a black cave on a gray train track. And there's a reason why they're there, but it would have just been so nice if they could have found just somewhere a little more aesthetically interesting to fight, or at least somewhere that wasn't just two guys in front of a green screen. Also, there's a few moments where the CGI is noticeably poor, but I kind of expected a few moments here and there in a movie this effects heavy, and it never was a huge distraction. Black Panther is one of the better Marvel films along the lines of a Thor Ragnarok or a Civil War because of those strong characters, the visual style, and the score. Oh my God. But it does have those moments that bring it back down to earth and prevent it from being an Avengers or certainly a Winter Soldier. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my review. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't, dislike it. That's fine too. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments if you've seen it, and if you feel obliged, hit subscribe. Bulletproof rhinos, dude. Bulletproof rhinos.